This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It's a freaking Sunday. I'm back. Not a long enough weekend for me. If you could call it a weekend. I still had to do work yesterday. I don't know. I'm still at a loss after Thursday's show. Really bummed myself out, so I'm going to try to keep it a little more lighthearted tonight. But we still got to talk about Nazis. Plus, I watched Schindler's List yesterday because it was Holocaust Remembrance Day the other day. Apparently, there were hand-drawn swastikas all over Union Station in D.C. on Holocaust Remembrance Day. The day after. Fucking Nazis. What's up, Warlord? For the first 2 hours of Schindler's List, I was like, God damn, this is capitalist propaganda. But then when he started doing industrial sabotage, I'm like, alright, I'm down with this. Really got me at the end when it showed the Jewish people he had actually saved. This movie's from 1993. Very young Liam Neeson. It showed some of the actual Jewish people that he saved during the Holocaust and them going to his grave. He is the only Nazi buried in Jerusalem. Hell of a movie. We were talking about Steven Spielberg on the Freak Show. I got him confused with Tim Burton. Sparkles corrected me like, no, the good director. Me, a film guy. Anyway, what are we doing tonight? We're going to read some mean YouTube comments because I've still got the trolls all over me from the whole Matt Walsh ordeal. Shout out to the Surfs, Lance from the Surfs. I think it was an older video, but I finally saw it because he put the clip up on YouTube. I think it was from a Twitch stream like a week ago. But Lance from the Surfs gave me a shout out and got another bump up in the numbers. So thank you, Lance. Super cool of you. I'm actually working on yet another new YouTube trailer incorporating both Walsh and Lance from the Surfs, giving me props. But unfortunately, because I produce so many videos, I have to go back and delete them, or otherwise they take up too much of my computer. I'd actually deleted the clip of Sparkles calling me a fucking idiot for bringing the wrong cake, so I have to go back to the original episode and find that clip again. So if I want to incorporate that, and tell my kids this was the swine flu. There's a scene from 2 or 3 officers were shot in New York. Fucking weird that fucking his name is escaped my mind right now. Eric Adams, goddamn, the new mayor of New York, former cop. He's not taking a lot of slack. Even the right wing is saying, oh, it's the progressive DAs that are causing this rise in crime, which is weird. We ain't gonna talk about that tonight, maybe tomorrow. We've got fucking bridges collapsing to talk about. We've got a historic snowstorm. We're gonna hear from Elizabeth Warren on the push for voting rights. Check up with what's going on with the latest in the Ukraine. I'm sorry, I said the Ukraine again. Got cat hair in my mouth or something. We're gonna hear from accused pedophile Alan Dershowitz about his thoughts on the Supreme Court. Ooh. The U.S. right wing has been going nuts over a certain black lady that they would like to put on the Supreme Court. Seriously, I got fucking cat hair moment. What the fuck are you talking about? Cosby Show. I said Alan Dershowitz and you just like another fucking sexual predator popped into your head? I don't know what's going on. I'm not getting it. Trump had a rally over the weekend. Now, if you were expecting me to stream it, no, I was watching the Royal Rumble. Don't get me started on that shit. Very enjoyable show up until the actual Royal Rumble. I don't know. I don't want to talk about Cosby. I know enough about Cosby. The fact that Cosby got off and that Harvey Weinstein might fucking get off. Seriously, they might be releasing Harvey Weinstein. Much the same way they released Bill Cosby. Guilty as fuck! We don't get justice here in the United States. We're going to hear from Diamond and Silk about Joe Rogan, because everybody got thoughts on Joe Rogan. Awesome clip of Ben Shapiro getting owned by kids. The West Virginia governor, Jim Justice, a former Democrat turned Republican, loyal to Trump, had a very interesting incident during his State of the State address on Thursday. It involved Bette Midler and a dog's ass, so stick around for that one. First tonight, let's read some mean YouTube comments. I've been promising that. So, apparently I'm just a pissed off ginger with gay facial. I thought it said gray facial hair. The first time I read it, I thought he said gray facial hair. I'm like, yeah, I'm almost 40. I've got some gray in my Fu Manchu, but apparently it's gay facial hair. I don't know what makes facial hair gay exactly. But okay. I have a nothing burger of a channel, even though Matt Walsh called me a formidable voice in the culture. And his voice. This voice makes me money, Jeff. I have been on the radio and doing voiceover work for 20 fucking years. But apparently I sound like an 11-year-old Alex Jones. I didn't know I was a ginger. I was certain that my hair was a dark brown. But apparently I'm a ginger, guys. I get a little bit of red at the top of my mustache sometimes. Maybe that's what they're referring to. Fucking, what are these people smoking? I want some of it. You sound like my angry 11-year-old ADHD son. Wait, what? Did another one call me 11 years old? They all say the same goddamn thing. How does that keep happening? They both called me an 11-year-old. I mean, we could do fucking a bingo card of right-wing insults because they only got a handful of them. Mom's basement, 11-year-old. I thought Walsh's book was genius. Walsh's book was genius. First of all, if you think a children's book is genius, there's probably something wrong with you. Mock the liberals. Force them to look at the absurdity of their ideas. Great book for the coffee table. I feel sorry for anyone who thinks that Matt Walsh's book is genius. Because holy fuck. What kind of stunted growth did you have? Jesus. Little Cat Feet, which is a very cute name. I like your name, lady. You're talking about science and logic, but do you agree that gender is a feeling you can't know? That's the definition of a religious belief. Now, my response was no. Gender is not a feeling that you can't know. What the fuck are you talking about, woman? That doesn't make any sense. Right-wingers are morons. I actually needed that to cut for my new YouTube trailer. I didn't have the clip of me saying right-wingers are morons anymore. I needed one from tonight's show. I thought I said it a hell of a lot more than I did, but I had like 20 clips of me. I hit the right-wingers are morons, but I didn't say it one time. Like, wow, I thought I said that like 20 times a show. Apparently not. Man, they take great issue with me calling them morons. Now, this one gets my phrase wrong and says I called them a dumb right-winger. Not true. You guys know exactly what I said. Right-wingers are morons. I asked them to tell, because they called me dumb, and I asked them to tell me, what did I say that was dumb? Please explain. So their response was, well, aside from most of your replies in this comment section, you called me a dumb right-winger. In another reply, I don't subscribe to identity politics because I'm not into cult behavior like you and the people you likely align yourself with. But the absurdity of you calling a gay man who's extremely socially liberal and has voted mostly Democrat my entire life a dumb right-winger because I dare to challenge your belief on this particular topic is just perfect. Laughing face. Now, they didn't challenge my fucking belief on, like, one is not a belief. I made logical arguments. I cited biologists and geneticists because this is back to the Matt Walsh book, which I find it absurd that people that came to my YouTube channel because of Matt Walsh fans are coming and being like, well, I'm not a right-winger. Evans, I hate to inform you, but I don't care if you voted mostly Democrat your entire life. You can still be a right-winger. Joe Biden is a right-winger. Bill Clinton, a right-winger. Most of the Democratic Party is right-wing. Allow me to... Don't make me tap the sign. Don't make me get the political compass again. This is the center of the Democratic Party. You notice, on the right side of the spectrum, most Democrats are right-wingers, so you voting Democrat is not proof that you're not a right-winger. You know what you should give me? You should give me a ringy-ding-ding or hop in the Discord. Come on. Aaron Hooman here loves to come and troll me or try to troll me. I don't know what they get out of it. I find it amusing. All the people that swing from my dick in the comment section are hilarious. As if I'm not doing a show called The Troll Patrol. As if I don't promote myself almost exclusively in right-wing spaces. Because I want you fuckers to come and troll me and bump my numbers up. Then, as it happened, like if I get the attention of Matt Walsh, then other lefties... The fuck are you? You can do better than that. Fuck off. Shut the fuck up. Don't come here to criticize me. The hell? I can do better. Fuck you. What the hell are you talking? You're not a media person. I can do better than that. You know, fuck. Seriously, fuck your criticisms. Go away. Oh. Okay, well, I'm sorry I was being an asshole then. You didn't tag him. Sounded like you were trying to make a comment on my tactics and I could give a shit less. Well, fuck you too. Been a while, actually. You probably need to come down and hang out. I told you, you could have been here watching the Royal Rumble last night, but instead you went to a beach in the snow. Oh, so the dude calls me a perfectly sad representation of why productive dialogue between people who have differing opinions is basically non-existent in our society today. They don't have a differing opinion. There's no dialogue to be had. Everybody that came to my fucking YouTube was trying to insult me. Nobody was trying to have a dialogue with me. Nobody was operating in good faith. It also seems you have taken it upon yourself to become a full-time keyboard warrior by means of turning this comment section into a little e-kingdom you think you can rule over. Literally talking about the comment section on my YouTube. What the hell? I do rule over it. I could delete your comment if I wanted to. I don't. I never delete anybody's comment. Watching your face, hearing your voice, and now reading your hostility and childlike name-calling tactics to people you know nothing about because they don't think like you left me with secondhand embarrassment for you, and that is truly off the charts. I wish you people could feel embarrassment. Seriously. You try to come to my channel and argue with me about shit you know nothing about, you're not informed on any topic, and then when I make fun of you for being a dumb fuck, you get your feelings hurt. Every goddamn time. That's all this comment is like, you called me a name. Me, me, me. One last one here. Apparently I yell at people and call them names in an attempt to silence them. Once again, I could delete his comment if I wanted to. I watched your live stream and you were destroyed by Jeremy even though he could barely get a word in with your shout. I did not get destroyed by Jeremy. He agreed with every fucking thing I said. And then still was like, well, what's a woman? I need a definition for woman. After conceding that gender traits are distributed on a spectrum, matching a normal curve. What's up, Keith's dad? I hope you put Keith to bed because I'm not child friendly. The fact that you can make such generalizations as right-wingers or morons goes to show that you rarely judge people on an individual basis. No, you fucks all come and say the same goddamn shit over and over again. I needed a catch-all phrase that I could get away with because I actually did used to judge people on an individual basis. I would literally call them dumb fucks on Facebook, and that kept getting me 30 days in Facebook jail. So I needed a comment that I could say that incorporated most Democrats, libertarians, and the entire Republican Party in order to insult them when they said idiotic shit. So I came up with right-wingers are morons, which I get away with on Facebook, but Twitter doesn't let me say it, which is weird. On top of that, just because they don't agree with you on this issue doesn't necessarily mean that they are a right-winger. That would be you making assumptions, making an ass of yourself as usual. Who gives a shit what the definition of... First of all, I'm tired of arguing this point with people that don't know what biologists and geneticists have said on this. No matter how they try to define what a woman is or what a man is, the term is inadequate, whether they do it by genes, testosterone levels, genitalia, reproductive organs. It leaves somebody out. A woman that everybody would say, oh, that's a woman. And because, like, as Jeremy agreed with me, gender is a spectrum. So, like, you're wanting some delineation somewhere on the spectrum. Why does it matter where we put that delineation at? That's why the third category of non-binary works out so well. But they're too stupid to understand what I'm talking about.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes, I do. All right, let's do the news. Curiouser, I'm sorry. I did not mean to yell at you earlier. She's sassy with me, though. She's always sassy with me. So how was I to know if she was talking to me or the troll? And I'm in one of those moods tonight, like, I'm coming in hot, sorry. Coming in cold is the historic snowstorm that hit the East Coast.
Ranging from just a few inches to close to 3 feet. The major nor'easter that rolled through overnight Friday and well into Saturday, moving off overnight, but leaving a huge mess in its wake.
That storm sparking blizzard warnings that ran from Virginia all the way up to Maine. Wind gusts over 80 miles an hour recorded in some areas.
And a travel nightmare.
Got some wild fucking video out of Nantucket.
And yesterday, here's a live look from JFK Airport in New York, one of the hardest hit airports in this storm. And more than 50,000 homes and businesses still without power this morning in Massachusetts, that state taking the brunt of the storm. So let's begin right there with Rob Marciano live in Boston. Rob, good morning. A lot of cleanup ahead.
Yeah, we got a lot to dig out from with this storm. Certainly lived up to its billing. Certainly here in Boston, 23.8 inches of snow falling, tying on all.
Wow.
Most amount of snow, 23.6 falling in just one day. And then, of course, you got these snow drifts, which makes it even more difficult to clean up and walk through. Luckily, they've done a pretty good job of cleaning at least some of the streets and some of the sidewalks. But this was not just an explosive storm, but expansive. I mean, tens of millions of Americans up and down the East Coast getting hit by this one.
This morning, the Northeast reeling after getting battered by an historic winter storm. In Massachusetts, more than 50,000 people without power, now forced to bear unrelenting bitter temperatures without electricity. The nor'easter dumping up to 30 inches of snow in the state's southeast region.
Downtown Boston's getting a good cleaning up.
Boston getting nearly 2 feet.
This is just a ferocious winter storm, and Boston is in the bullseye. Look at these snow.
Now, I will say that as somebody who was in TV, every single one of the meteorologists at the station I worked for was like 5'6", 5'7", all of them. What the female meteorologist that we had, she always stood on a box for her shots. So I'm just saying, maybe there's just a theme with meteorologists that they tend to be smaller.
Curtains of snow have been coming down sideways all day long. Visibility at times near zero, and the wind chill's just brutal, well below 0 degrees.
Massive amounts of snow and ice, just one of the many dangers the storm left in its wake. Rising floods surging onto coastal communities. The Cape area getting hammered with over 70 miles.
That's exactly what I wanted to focus on here, is the Nantucket flooding. Wild video.
Joining us now is Nantucket Police Chief Bill Pittman. Chief, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for asking.
We understand that 40% of the island is without power at this hour. What's the scene like there? We're looking at video of it here.
Yeah, it's been quite a day. At one point, I think we're up to 60% of the island was without.
So it's not just the snow, but major flooding.
We're down to about 20 to 25% now. So National Grid is doing an excellent
down to
job.
20. Like it's fucking 20 degrees here right now, I think.
Unfortunately, we're running into many situations where the wires are so tangled up into some of the downed trees that it's going to be a while before they can get everything back.
We're looking at pictures, and there's water in.
Well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it warmed up today.
Canoe people.
It's actually in the 50s. It was 20 last night.
What's the situation there now? Is the water still there?
I didn't go outside.
There's residual water left from when the tide went out. The drains obviously were all froze up, and so it couldn't get out. So that is our big problem moving forward, is going to be dealing with this flash freezing that's coming. And then the tide tonight at, I think, about 10 o'clock, there'll be
We're probably not out of the woods yet. The last couple of years, we've had a bad winter snap towards the end of February, even the beginning of March.
Minimize our additional flooding.
All right, Nantucket Police Chief Bill Pittman. Chief, thank you so much for taking a few moments to let us know.
I don't like the cold. Even like we were doing the freak show on Friday night, and Sparrow was like, it's snowing outside. I'm like, it doesn't snow here. It's not supposed to snow here. Oh, shit. On Friday, a bridge in Pennsylvania collapsed.
When I look at the bus, and
which I'm sure the snowstorm made much worse, especially for the rescue efforts.
That no one lost their life in this collapse, really.
Federal investigators get an up-close look at the site where the Fern Hollow Bridge collapsed. The investigation into what caused the collapse of the bridge is underway, and it's likely to take...
Now, if you have watched this show for any amount of time, you'll know one of my biggest issues is the fact that over 40,000 bridges in this country are considered structurally deficient. Over 40,000 bridges in this country are considered structurally deficient. I shudder when I drive across a bridge. That's why I don't like fucking driving anymore here in the United States.
Months to determine how and why the bridge failed. The NTSB gave us an update on their process yesterday evening, and KDK's Bryant Reed is here with the latest information.
Brandon, this is going to be a long and technical process. The NTSB says that the investigation alone could take upwards of a year. They said that they're going to be putting this bridge under a microscope. They want to look at its history, design, construction, maintenance, and repairs up until the day of the collapse. During the first full day on site, the 13-member team...
I hate to think about that, Dustin.
...of the Fern Hollow Bridge, and investigators took to the ground...
Because, I mean, that's a great question, because we saw the bridge in Memphis. How long ago was this? It might have been the end of the summer. It's been a few months back, but there was this bridge in Memphis. They were just doing a routine inspection, and they had to shut it the fuck down. Because one of the girders on the underside of it had completely, like, sheared off. Shut the whole fucking bridge down. So I don't think that was one of the ones that had been considered structurally deficient at the time.
A hard look at the legs of the bridge. Now,
third world country in a Gucci belt is correct.
Fatigue and cracking. And a major part of this investigation, they say, will be the video from the Port Authority bus involved in the collapse. But during yesterday's update, Jennifer Homendy, the chair of the NTSB, gave a call to Americans that infrastructure needs to be better taken care of.
Although we can't determine the cause of the collapse while we're on scene, this should serve as a call to action.
I mean, clearly there was something wrong with the bridge.
We have aging transportation infrastructure, bridges, tunnels, and that is something that can begin to be addressed immediately.
Tunnels!
A preliminary report could be coming to everybody within the next 10 days or so, but the final report...
I mean, I feel like you're saying that as a joke, that we're so similar to Ethiopia, it's crazy, but like, rural area medical, RAM, the people that go and do dentist work, and provide medical care for underserved communities, used to predominantly be in Africa. Now they're going around the southern part of the United States. They don't go out of the country as much now because the need is here in the U.S. Yeah, the idea of like a tunnel collapsing scares the shit out of me.
Of course, much longer, anywhere from 12 to 18 months. And she asked that if anybody has video of the collapse itself, send it their way. Reporting at the collapse site, I'm Bryant Reed, KDK News.
Wow. If they have video of the collapse.
That every time the Democrats have a crisis, the fix...
I'm going off the rails here with Dan Bongino. We're not ready for right-wing dumbfuckery yet. Different kind of dumbfuckery. Let's hear from Joe Biden. This was on Friday after the bridge collapsed.
Thank you very much. You know, I can picture him in Desert Storm as a sergeant barking out orders, can't you? When my son Bo was promoted to major in Iraq, and I said, now you're a field-grade officer. He said, Dad, I have no illusions. I know who runs the Army. Sergeants. Sergeants. They're the officers. Well, hello, Pittsburgh. It's good to be back. It really is good to be. Before I begin, let me just talk a little bit about what we all just saw, many of us saw this morning.
I guarantee you're not politically neutral. Every right-winger thinks they are in the middle. Don't make me tap the sign again. I mean, are you to the left or the right of Joe Biden? Because here's Joe Biden on the far right. Most of the Democratic Party on the right. The Republican Party way up here on the far right, falling off the fucking chart. I mean, the reason I'm a leftist is because that's the policy prescription for what is needed now. It doesn't matter who you make fun of. That's what does that even mean? I make fun of everybody, but I'm a leftist because that's the policy prescription for what we need right now. We live in a hyper-capitalist society where it's been 40, 50 years of union busting, deregulation, tax cuts for the rich, and it has fucked our country up. Howie Hawkins, the Green Party nominee. I don't think he got very much. I mean, this is from 2020. If you're in the center of the two political parties here in the U.S., you are very much on the right because the Overton window has moved that far. Bernie Sanders is a centrist politician. But I don't understand why people stress so much over this left and right delineation. I don't get it. Not killing a baby, it's terminating a pregnancy. And everyone should be pro-choice. That's the only just position. It's not about being right or left. That is the only just position. Because when life begins is a morality call. So it has to be left up to the individual. There's only one just position, and it's pro-choice. You don't like abortion? Don't fucking have one. Pretty fucking easy.
A bridge more than 50 years old, 100, I think it was 100.
Well, now, here's the things I can point to a lot of the things that Reagan, and this makes right-wingers' heads explode, is like, Reagan's the one that proposed the assault weapons ban. So, like, there are positions that Reagan was, I don't want to say liberal, neo-liberal on. But I mean, that's how far the Republican Party has drifted to the right. Well, if you're not stupid, of course you're pro-choice. That's what I would say. There's only one just position.
50 years old, but I thought it was older. Collapsed right here in Pittsburgh. It had been rated in poor condition for the past 10 years. What you all know, if you don't, you should know, there are another
If you know, you know.
300 bridges here in Pennsylvania, some of which are just as old and just as decrepit condition as that bridge was, including here.
That is that surviving outside the womb. That's the delineation that the Supreme Court put there.
I was born and raised
fetal viability
in Pennsylvania, and I've been to Pittsburgh a lot. But all these years, I never knew Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, had more bridges than any other city in the world. Yo.
I've been to Pittsburgh, and it seemed like I was always on a bridge.
45,000 bridges in poor condition. It's just simply unacceptable.
That's what I was saying. Over 40,000 structurally deficient.
I've been saying for years, We have to do something about it.
Here in the greatest country on earth.
Every time I've come to Pittsburgh, and we finally got it done. A bipartisan infrastructure law, including the largest investment in our nation's bridges since the Eisenhower put together the interstate highway system. And
that is a fucking shame.
This is the first
70 fucking years between that kind of investment into our infrastructure. No wonder there are over 40,000 bridges that are structurally deficient.
The governor can tell you we're giving state and local leaders historic funding to make national projects real. Here in Pennsylvania, that means at least $1.6 billion for bridges alone.
And it was woefully insufficient. The money that we actually did end up with. Now he's touting the one thing he has been able to pass, the bipartisan infrastructure bill. But there are still progressives on his ass about the things that he's yet to pass. Here's Elizabeth Warren talking about voting rights.
Thank you, Nico. Thank you very much for the introduction. And thank you for all that you do on behalf of the people across Massachusetts. We really do have a great team here working on.
Well, the so-called bipartisan bill was kind of a giveaway to corporations.
And hello, Massachusetts.
The Build Back Better Act was the more robust bill that would have actually provided money towards the people, so of course it couldn't pass.
I hope everyone on this call is...
All of the provisions which were overwhelmingly popular with the American people.
I've got my turtleneck on and my little heat thing cranked up. But I wanted to take a chance this evening to...
Ooh, the senator from Massachusetts must be at her home.
I'm working on, and then just to answer as many questions, to talk about whatever is on your mind. So over the last year, the Democrats have delivered on two major pieces of President Biden's agenda. The American Rescue Plan, which provided over $8 billion...
Oh, I didn't know she was going to include that. I just thought that was a given.
To expand vaccines, to safely reopen our schools, to help small businesses, and to help Massachusetts families be able to make ends meet. And then that was followed up in...
Well, that was a year ago, and that money is all dried up now.
Which will provide more than $9 billion right here in Massachusetts, basically to revitalize our crumbling infrastructure. That means roads, bridges. It's also got a big chunk of something I worked very hard on, and that is enhancing public transit, moving to electric vehicles, electric buses, school buses, clean and safe drinking water, upgrade our sewage.
Elizabeth Warren would have been a better president than Biden.
Access all across the Commonwealth. So this is just the start of what Congress can do to help working families by boosting our economic recovery.
Why they had to give us Biden? Why couldn't the establishment have gotten behind Warren?
Those are good things, but boy, we have a lot more work that we need to be doing. So I wanted to...
Why couldn't Warren throw her support behind Bernie?
Hear directly from you.
Bernie looking into her being vice president and Treasury Secretary.
Amplifying and supporting the needs of the Commonwealth. So first...
I'm still salty about the 2020 election. I'm sorry.
To do. I should say three. First one, obviously, is voting rights. Last week, Democrats put voting rights legislation on the floor of the United States Senate. All 50 Republican senators...
Yeah, you're a right-winger if you like Tulsi Gabbard. God damn.
Filibuster. And we just couldn't do it. But I want you to understand this. I am not... Our fight to protect voting rights and to defend our democracy is far from over. All American citizens have a fundamental right to vote and to get their vote counted. And
I don't know what happened to her. She probably would have been defense secretary.
From voting or to try to...
What the... Hey, Keith's dad, don't make me tap the fucking sign again. What don't you get about most Democrats are fucking right-wing? Elizabeth Warren is a right-winger. Barely. She's over on this side, according to the political compass. But the center of the Democratic Party is here in solidly in the right. Don't make me tap the sign. This country has gone off the rails to the right. Well, she's a Democrat. Look who is promoting Tulsi Gabbard nowadays. It's Dave Rubin, it's Steven Crowder, it's Ben Shapiro. You want to tell me she's not right-wing? Holy shit. She's gone the way of the anti-vaxxers. Tulsi Gabbard is a lost cause. Ukraine's envoy to Washington says there is no friction with the United States. This was from this morning on Face the Nation.
Said Ukraine's grateful for support, but I can't be like other politicians who are grateful to the United States just for being the United States. What does he mean by that? Because it sounds a lot like there's some friction here.
There is no friction. I mean, look, we can have some discussions and we can have difference of opinions, but United States is our strategic partner, and I would even say strategic friend, number one. Our relations, especially during the last year, has been at the highest level ever, I would say, in 30 years.
Well, they're not getting threatened by old Trumpy boy anymore. The U.S. is indeed trying to manufacture some drama. This is the Pentagon's press conference from 2 days ago. A little bit different signal. Now that was Ukraine's envoy to the U.S. That was one of their top diplomats saying, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!" But here's the Pentagon, and their posture's a little different.
Higher scenarios if the Russians decided to make that full move. Could you explain a little bit more? You mentioned, for example, the capital, Kyiv. How disastrous could it be in your?
Huh? What? Don't make me tap the sign again. Good Lord. Yes, here's the half, here's the right side. Why is this so confusing? I don't get it. And why do people get so hung up on right wing, left wing? Yes, that's why the fucking country is in the shit. That's why the policy prescription. Yes, dude. Joe Biden is a right-winger. Bill Clinton, a right-winger. Obama was a right-winger. How do you not get this? Somebody over here on this side of the left spectrum would be advocating for the abolishment of private property. That's what, when Bill Clinton came to power, it was called a third way Democrat. Third way. We're economically conservative, but we're socially liberal. So it was a continuation of tax cuts for the rich, deregulation. That's why we got banking deregulation under Bill Clinton, and that's why we're in the shit. Yes, a fucking plane can't fly with everything over on the right fucking side. You made a very good analogy. That's why the country is facing the problems it's facing. That's why I was president of the Young Republicans, and now I'm a leftist, because the further and further I get into my life, the more this country needs leftist policies to correct the damage that has been done by the right-wingers. I always try to tell, and you can point to, I've got several charts over here. Here is productivity decoupling from hourly compensation. This is when Reagan came into power. This is the Reagan Revolution right here. There's a Twitter account that's like, I just like to put Reagan's inauguration on different charts. Far fucking right. The Westboro Baptist, they're not political. They're a religious organization, but they would be up here. I don't think they're relative anymore. Relevant. They're not relevant anymore because they've splintered off. Like the daughter is like an activist for gay people now. She became friends with Kevin Smith and it changed her perspective. Yes, austerity politics is all we have in the U.S. Where was Tulsi? First of all, Tulsi has changed since the 2020 election. This was back at a time when she would have been Sanders' defense secretary. Things have changed in the last 2 years. She took a hard right turn. I just explained that to you. This is the 2020 presidential candidates. This was done back in 2020 or in 2019 probably. This is the political compass test. For anyone who doesn't, I always get told that it's biased, but then I have people take the test and they're like, "Yeah, that's about where I plot." I'm like, "Okay, well, how is it biased then?" The weirdest fucking thing, because I get people don't want to believe how far right this country has gone. It's just a point of reference. It's just a point of reference. Oh my God. And it's only wrong when it comes to somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, who took a hard right turn. Biden's been pretty consistent in his career. That's what I get so upset with people that call Biden a socialist or a communist. Because he's been bought and paid for. Are you an idiot? Are you like really fucking dumb? I'm sorry to ask you that, but like, you're really not picking up on this at all. And this is the problem with so-called centrists. And you're kind of derailing me here. Like I want to engage with you, but like, I don't want to have to teach a class on political science. Fuck me.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes. I wish people understood the limits of their intelligence and knew when to, but like it seems like the dumber people are, the more enlightened they think they are, and it's really weird. Mr. Centrist that knows nothing about U.S. politics. That's probably just, basing his political leanings on personalities. Or he thinks Tulsi Gabbard is hot or something. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off on you like that. My fuse is short tonight. Not been a good couple of days for me. Neutral, centrist, what the fuck does it matter? By the way, if you, what's the quote? Somebody hit me with it. Neutrality in times of love. Means you're on the side of the oppressor. Oh. Desmond Tutu quote, "If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If an elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse and you say that you are neutral, the mouse will not appreciate your neutrality." So you might as well just, if I'm neutral, then you're on the side of the capitalist oligarchs that are ruining this fucking country. Sorry.
Your assessment.
Like the defense contractors that are so hungry, they need a new war.
Are you looking at massive refugee flows, the impact on the security of Europe that has existed?
Well, thank you, Keith's dad. I promise I will be less adversarial in future encounters.
In terms of our reassurance efforts, Barb, as you know, we have had a number of forces in the region, training with the Eastern European countries. Those forces, and that's been going on for quite some time.
I believe this is Defense Secretary Lord Austin.
Provide great value, just their presence.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Lloyd Austin, and then Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Mark Milley.
The types of things we do with them routinely is train with them and enable them and really.
The capitalist oligarchs want to keep you arguing with me so that you don't join with me and overthrow them. They're going to do everything they can, especially focusing on wedge issues like abortion, like trans bathroom bills. Shit like they want to fight culture wars so you don't join with me because it's in your best interest. We're right on economic policy over here. So who gives a shit if the capitalist oligarchy thinks you're on the side of the liberal snowflakes? That's their goal, is to keep us divided. That's why they attack collectivism so hard. They talk about the woke mob. They try to attack education. So you won't learn the actual history of this country and how we've had to come together time and time again to beat these motherfuckers. I highly recommend Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States.
Increase their level of readiness, and so that's been very helpful to them, and it has strengthened our bonds with our allies and partners in the region. These are temporary deployments, and so again.
We've heard this before. Temporary deployments, my ass.
Sort this out as we go forward, but again. We are focused on NATO. We're focused on reassuring our allies, and that's what this is all about. In terms of trusting Putin, I don't think this is about trusting Putin. This is about our allies trusting us. And so that's really what we're focused on. And we, Mr. Putin, at some point in time will reveal what he's thinking. But again, I'm not sure that he's made final decisions on what he's going to do yet. So.
And Barbara, let me first say that as the Secretary said up front, right now we don't think final decisions have been made to conduct any sort of offensive operation into Ukraine by the Russians. And we firmly believe there's still room for diplomatic outcome here. Having said that, given the type of forces...
Yeah, we just saw the envoy from the Ukraine
the artillery,
saying to chill the fuck out.
The air forces, all of it packaged together. If that was unleashed on Ukraine, it would be significant, very significant, and it would result in a significant amount of casualties. And you can.
Oh my God! Oh fuck! Do I have it handy? I don't think I do. I think it's on my phone. I had a Teddy Roosevelt meme that had all his different policies. It had his face in the entire political compass. It was fantastic. Like, I'll let Millie keep talking. I'll see if I can dig that up.
What that might look like in dense urban areas, along roads and so on and so forth. It would be horrific. It would be terrible. And it's not necessary, and we think a diplomatic outcome is the way to go here.
Can I just very quickly follow? Do you have a view? Can you, either of you, can you keep U.S. forces from having to deal with Russian forces directly? If you're reinforcing Eastern Europe, for example, will U.S. forces potentially be in missions against Russian forces? Can you keep them away from Russian forces?
Again, our presence there helps to reassure our partners in the frontline countries there. And you know, Barb, that we have an Article 5 commitment to our NATO partners. And so if Putin were to attack one of those countries, then of course that commitment, that's an ironclad commitment. The president has said a number of times that we will live up to that commitment. And so, but again, our focus is not on fighting in Ukraine. It's on reassuring our NATO partners and allies.
Sir, we've got time for just one more.
Guess we don't have time. I can't find it. It was so good, though. I'll see if I can dig that up and have it for you guys tomorrow night. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. I did find it. Yay. Teddy Roosevelt is a fascinating figure. Broke up corporate monopolies up here in the authoritarian left, founded the national park system. Here in the libertarian left, expanded the American empire up here in the authoritarian right, hunted exotic animals down here in the libertarian right. So, when you want astute analysis on legal matters, who do you turn to? An accused pedophile. At least that's what Fox News and the BBC think.
Welcome back. This week, news leaked of Justice Stephen Breyer's upcoming retirement. It forced the Supreme Court justice to announce he will retire at the end.
Maria Bartiromo doesn't look as rough as she did the other day when we were, was it last week? Last Sunday we were watching a clip of Maria Bartiromo. It looked like she had a rough night the night before. She's looking a little more put together tonight. So, I was worried about you last week, ma'am.
The end of his term, giving Biden his first opportunity to nominate a justice and make good on his campaign promise to nominate a black woman to the high court. Joining me right now, a man who has known Justice Breyer for 60 years, constitutional attorney Alan Dershowitz is here. He's also the host of The Dersh Show on Rumble.
He's also an accused pedophile.
Your reaction to what took place this week, was Justice Breyer forced to announce retirement?
Well, I think the leaking of his intended retirement was probably designed to make sure he sticks to it. Stephen is not going to be pushed around, and I think efforts to try to get him to retire may have backfired, but I knew right from the beginning that he would retire at the end of this term. He didn't want to.
I know! And don't ever mention that he's an accused pedophile when they bring him on.
To replace him.
And they're like, when I was referring to the BBC, oh shit.
Peter Schweitzer.
I fucked up here. When I was referring to the BBC, they had him on to talk about the case that he is accused of being a pedophile in. And did not mention that he was accused of it while talking about that very case.
Want to be replaced by somebody who will undo his quarter century of heritage. And that is an understandable position by somebody who's been a judge for so long and has had such great influence on the judiciary.
Well, the progressives have run so many decisions that Joe Biden has made, assess Biden's...
Oh, yeah, the progressives are running the decisions in the Biden administration.
He plans to select the next justice based on race.
Makes perfect sense.
Alan, Mr. Turley, Jonathan Turley, says it raises the question on whether it's actually appropriate for a politician to use such a criteria that the court itself has found unconstitutional.
I assume it's because he's so intertwined with both the Democratic and Republican parties.
He had said he was going to appoint the first black.
He was Bill Clinton's attorney. He was Donald Trump's attorney.
Because the Constitution, Article 6, specifically provides that no religious test shall ever be required. I think the 14th and 19th Amendments also extend that to no racial or gender tests. Nobody should ever be excluded because they don't fit a racial or gender criteria. There are enormous numbers of qualified black judges and professors who would make great...
They have historically been excluded for that very reason. And there are plenty of qualified black women to pick from. Therefore, since they have historically been excluded, it only makes sense to try to even it out.
Appointees to the Supreme Court. And I would applaud if the president appointed somebody who also fit those criteria. But to announce in advance, no whites, no males need apply, brings us back to the days when the Supreme Court was an exclusively white male institution. After all, it's only had 13 Catholics, 8 Jews, 3 women.
Wow.
Almost all recent. It was an exclusive organization for many years, and race and gender should never play a role in the selection process.
Alan, I know that you ruled out the possibility that Joe Biden will nominate Kamala.
Keith's dad, are you stupid? Seriously. Because they have historically been excluded. In order to make the court look more representative of the country, there should be a black woman on the court. I don't understand what's so hard. That's not reverse racism. Affirmative action was put in place because, hey, you've eliminated the barriers that say, it's no longer legal to discriminate against somebody because of race. But if everybody is still a crusty old white man that's deciding who gets hired, then the institution is still corrupt by the historical corruption. So in order to make it more representative of the people, you need the affirmative action to put people of color and women in place. No, that is not my claim at all. Would you do me a favor and stop asking stupid questions? Like, I'm willing to explain it to you, but how hard is this concept, really? You can't just say, all right, the barrier has been eliminated, and then allow that's what we're talking about, systematic racism exists. Because if everybody that's in the court system is still a crusty old white man, then there may not be a legal barrier, but there is still a barrier to entry. So Biden is doing the right thing by saying he will appoint a black woman to the Supreme Court because there are plenty of them that are qualified. We're not saying give somebody a leg up just because of their race. That's not what affirmative action was. It's that there are plenty of qualified people that are black that have historically been excluded. So pick from them in order to make it more diverse. That is not what I said. You're a fucking idiot. Are you really this fucking dense? Because that's a straw man argument. That's not at all what I fucking said. I thought I explained it pretty fucking well, but hey, if you are invested in not understanding it, you're not going to understand it. And there's plenty of propaganda to, like Maria Bartiromo and Alan Dershowitz over here, old Drinky Poo, and that... You're a very dumb person. I'm serious. That is not at all what I said. Fuck me. No, I don't. I want to move the fuck on. Because, like, just because you don't get it. Fuck! What an idiot! All right, Keith, call the fuck in. You want to have an argument with me? Call the fuck in. You don't just keep keep derailing me. You want to have a talk? Let's go. 917-830-4359, or you can hop into the Discord if you're more technologically savvy. I will explain this to you. But you can't keep being fucking dense like this. You're fundamentally misunderstanding affirmative action. You're fundamentally misunderstanding why we would want a black woman on the Supreme Court. Hey, I don't mind trolls, but it's the stupid part that really gets me. And as I said, I got a low tolerance for it tonight. I really do. I'm sorry you showed up on this kind of an evening, because like I'm raw tonight. You gonna come in the Discord? You gonna talk with us?
All right, let me mute you. All right. How's it going, Justin? I am loving your stream. I just want to say I am loving your stream. Even though I don't agree with you, I love your stream.
Why do you not agree with me?
Well, because the argument that you said was, when I said that it was okay, you said, well, we've always been exclusionary. That was your words. We've always been exclusionary. And I agree. I agree with that statement.
So you understand why to be affirmative then, right?
No, I totally don't agree with affirmative action. No, that's crazy talk. Because I believe in equality of opportunity. Everyone should have the...
You're a right-winger! You've been listening to fucking stupid-ass Jordan Peterson!
No. He's not even political.
Oh my god!
I have seen him. He's not even political.
Okay, so how do we level the playing field? Without...
Define leveling the playing field. Is leveling the playing field just giving everyone the same ability to get far, or is leveling the playing field making everyone the same at all levels?
No one is making everyone the same at all levels.
Meaning, are you saying that you want to give incentive to men to become elementary school teachers? That would be also considered leveling the playing field? Because elementary school teachers are mostly women. So that we need to level the playing field by adding more men. Is that the leveling the playing field?
I don't think that's properly analogous.
Why not?
We're talking about a system of justice here. We're specifically talking about the courts.
Right.
Or with affirmative action in companies. It was.
And do you think that adding a black female to the Supreme Court, that she's going to be a representative of black females in the nation? Is that why we should do it?
She would bring a different perspective to the court. Not necessarily that she speaks for all black females. That's stupid.
Wouldn't everyone bring some sort of different perspective? Because
No. The way it's been has been the Federalist Society fucking screening out all these right-wing nut jobs.
Yeah, I don't really go with how it's been, because notoriously we
have to correct the historical injustice.
Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying we're doing? We have to correct instead of just making it right. We have to.
What do you mean?
Correct it.
What do you mean making it right?
Well, giving everyone the same opportunity.
What does that entail?
It means that everyone competes against everyone.
Okay, well, if there's the same crusty old white people running everything, how is that giving everyone the same opportunity?
So my stance here is no, I could care less, the race or the gender that is put into the Supreme Court, as long as they're the best qualified candidate. Why would it?
So are you saying that there's not a black woman out there that would be more than qualified to be on the Supreme Court?
I'm not saying there wouldn't be.
So why not pick one of them, since they've historically been left out?
Compete against everyone else. What's wrong with that?
They are. But why pick another crusty old white man?
I don't know. I don't have any in front of me to choose from, do I? It's easier when you just eliminate them because of race.
Okay, let's go back to why affirmative action was a thing. So we've got these CEOs, they all are overwhelmingly white old men. So if you eliminate the legal barrier for people to be able to move up in companies, how are you doing anything to actually give people opportunity if the same racist old white people are still running everything? Do you see?
No, I don't. Why would that make a difference? Are you saying that the men that are running these companies are only going to promote men?
Yeah, that's what the data bears out. Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it does.
Yes, it does. Yes, it. First of all, you want to act like we live in a meritocracy, and that is not true at all.
Well, I don't know why you keep labeling what I'm saying. You're talking to me. You're not talking to a some sort of label. I know you want to pigeonhole me somewhere.
How did I label you?
If you're going to debate with me, debate with what I'm saying. Don't try to pigeonhole me into a group.
That's a weird thing to say to me, sir.
Right? I'm not calling you anything. I'm using your words and your arguments.
I don't think you're understanding my argument.
Somebody else's arguments to debate me.
No, you're accusing me of strawmanning you, and I'm not. I'm saying
I didn't even say that.
You are acting. That's exactly what you accused me of.
Of anything.
Yeah, you did.
I'm sorry you took it that way. I never said you're thinking.
Don't pigeonhole me. I didn't go. I said you're acting like we live in a meritocracy, and we don't.
I never said we did I? Did I say we did?
That was your. So if we eliminate the legal barriers, then that's everybody has the opportunity. You're saying we live in a meritocracy. That's not true.
Well, no, it's not true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. We have affirmative action. It's totally not true. Affirmative action
got struck down like fucking 10 years ago, first of all.
Yeah, well, I know, but answer the question. Affirmative action is not meritocracy.
Yeah, it was.
No, I mean, by define meritocracy.
You're acting like people were picked just because of their skin color, and that wasn't true. Affirmative action. What? First of all, what do you think affirmative action was? Define it.
Affirmative action is a way to exclude certain races and certain.
No. It said
so that disenfranchised.
No.
You gotta let me finish. What society considers disenfranchised in minorities can do better.
It said if you had two equally qualified candidates and one was black and one was white, you should pick the black person. That's what affirmative action said.
Here's how affirmative action actually works, and I'll give you a story. I worked for...
No. I don't give a shit about your stupid anecdote. I do not give a shit about your stupid anecdote.
I was hired...
I do not give a shit about your stupid anecdote.
I mean, then... All right.
I am telling you what the law said. It said if you had two equally qualified candidates, you should pick the black person.
Okay.
Or you should pick the person of color, not necessarily black.
I mean, is that what you're saying?
Or you should pick the woman over the man. Because historically, they have been disenfranchised.
Equal. If they're equal.
Two equally qualified candidates. That's what the law literally said.
The law says...
How do you have a problem with that?
That they have to be equal.
The law said if you had two equally qualified candidates...
Yep.
To pick the person of color or the woman.
Yep.
And you see a problem with that?
Do you think that that's the way that it's been enacted in the United States?
I would say it was. Fucking the data bores it out that like no, it didn't fucking help out.
Data, but we can't talk about data unless you're going to show data, right?
Okay, the CEOs of most of the Fortune 500 companies are still overwhelmingly old white men.
Okay, why?
What do you think? Do you think they got there on their merit?
Why not? Why do you think they didn't?
Because the number one predictor of success in this country is wealth. You can almost do it by zip code. Who will succeed in this country? It's not. You're acting like it's a meritocracy, and it's not.
I may not disagree with you on that.
There is no disagreement with it. I just stated a fact.
And I agree. Okay, I agree with your fact. So now tell me, what does race have to do with that? And are you going to tell me now that zip code of that black female that's going to be put into the Supreme Court is not going to be one of those zip codes?
It's possible.
Then why should race and gender matter in that case? Because then you're not going to like whoever's going to be put in there anyway. They're automatically probably going to be in one of those zip codes. No?
Are you stupid?
Yeah, that's the response to a logical argument.
You did not make a logical argument. That was nonsense.
I mean, that's what you said. You made a claim that success is based on zip code. I agreed with you. So when it comes to who's going to go into the Supreme Court, you're saying zip code is going to end up winning out.
No!
Regardless of color and gender. So how is that representative to what you want to represent with affirmative action? It's not.
The goal is to make society representative. Okay, like instead of having white people run everything, the goal is to make it more representative of the society we live in.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like Hillary Clinton. Loved Hillary Clinton. Would have voted for Hillary Clinton back in the day. However, I used to yell at people,
hard right winger.
Vote for her only because she's white. Well, I didn't have much of a choice, did we? The people who said I'm going to vote for her simply because she's a woman, I had problems with.
Who did that? This is not you're making shit up now.
You're telling me people didn't go on the news and say we need to vote for her because she'll be the first woman president?
It had nothing to. Fuck.
Why is it getting so upset? Not saying anything that's not completely accurate that you can.
No, you are saying completely inaccurate shit.
All right, what did I say that was inaccurate?
Was she any less qualified than anybody else?
It's not about being basically qualified. It's who is the most qualified. Isn't that the answer? Anybody, literally anybody is qualified to be on the Supreme Court. Anybody.
No, literally nobody is qualified.
Who isn't qualified to be on the Supreme Court?
You aren't. You are not. I am not. Are you a fucking lawyer? You're not.
So being a lawyer is a qualification?
Yes. No. They are judges.
You don't have to be a lawyer to be